Hello everyone, TimeToGrind here, and today I wanted to talk about the whole Belgium declaring loot boxes gambling and therefore making them illegal. Because overall, a lot of people have been, thinking this is a very positive thing, and I do think it's positive, but I think a lot of people aren't really understanding the full consequences of what will happen, because obviously, myself included, we all want loot boxes to go die in a hole. Unless you're on a, unless you're a shareholder of some, AAA title game company, you want loot boxes to die. They're manipulative and, they're scummy, whatever. We've talked about this a million times before. And so when an entire country is saying, hey, loot boxes are gambling, they're manipulative, we're making them illegal, that seems like a really, really good thing at face value. But I think a lot of people don't understand what is actually going to happen, the full consequences like it. Because in China has done kind of stuff like this. They haven't made, a blanket, ban like that. It's been a little more complicated, but China was one of the first people to make it where if you have a loot box or some random, pack or anything, you have to show the percentages of everything. So if there's a 10% chance to get a, ultra rare hero, and then there's a 20% chance to get an uncommon hero, and those kind of statistics, you have to show them off in China. But the loophole people found was, developers, I'm pretty sure League of Legends did this, they just made the chances for their China loot boxes, they just made them look way more better than normal. So, say the normal loot box, it has a 10% chance to give you the, ultra rare thing. Well, in China, their loot boxes, there's a 40% chance or something like that. Probably not that drastic, but it made it look awesome, because then when people from China post those, percent findings on the internet, everyone's like, oh, okay, well, that's what our loot boxes are. They're not really thinking that the loot box could have changed, and they're like, oh, okay, the loot boxes aren't that manipulative. Look, there's a 40% chance, but they don't realize that that's not for them, that they changed it only for China to look good. And then you also had stuff like, China didn't like the way Overwatch and Hearthstone, the packs and loot boxes were doing. So what Hearthstone did is you can no longer buy Hearthstone packs in China. That's just the thing you can't do. But you want to know what you can do? You can buy 5 dust, and then they give you a pack. Just from the bottom of their heart, they, to thank you for being a player, they give you a free pack with your purchase of 5 dust. The problem is the 5 dust is the, the purchase of the 5 dust in China is the same exact price as a normal pack, and you're still just buying packs. It's just disguised as buying dust, because you're technically not buying a pack, you're buying dust, and then they're just giving you a pack from the bottom of their heart, for being a loyal customer. And that's a very silly loophole that should be fixed, but, and that's Blizzard. I want people to realize that's not some, random free-to-play, pay-to-win, first-person shooter China exclusive that, you open up a loot box, it gives you a 1 piece out of 50 to unlock a gun that is, one-shot kill, because those games exist, and those games, a lot of those games flourish in, China and South Korea and, Japan, places like that, but overall, that's Blizzard. And I just want people to realize, some of these companies that you praise and stuff are very, very scummy, in one way or another. But overall, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about China. We're talking about Belgium. Because Belgium said blanket ban on all loot boxes because they're all gambling. And like I, was saying, at face value, that seems very, very good. That seems like, okay, sweet, we're going to, it's killing loot boxes because they can't be sold in this one country. And there's a couple problems I have with that. First of all, the obvious one, as we've seen with just especially living in America, we see this all the time, and it's just so sad. Companies don't care if they have to pay fines. If they can illegally screw over customers, like if a bank can illegally, screw over and make people pay way more than they're supposed to, and they make $5 billion, if they pay a $1 billion fine, although like a $1 billion fine seems like a lot and it seems like a very bad punishment, it doesn't matter. They still made a crap ton of money. They're still going to do it again. And that's what, it's kind of like this. They were saying they can be, the publishers risk a prison sentence of up to 5 years and a fine of 100,000 euros. Now, I don't really know how the prison sentence would work because, especially if the developers or publishers do not live in Belgium, no one is going to extradite them to Belgium to serve out a prison sentence. And if they don't live there, there's nothing they can do about that. They can't go to another country and then arrest them and kidnap them and take them to another country. And the 800 euro fine, that's just gonna fall in if they're gonna make $2 billion, you know, what is that fine? That they're still making money, screwing over customers. So that's one small thing. Another thing is a lot of people, you know, think that, oh, okay, well, you know, it's just gonna disappear. Well, in Belgium, some developers and publishers might just, make loot boxes or, you know, disappear. But if it matters like gameplay, especially for things like Hearthstone, they might just say, okay, there's no way you can buy packs anymore in Belgium, and they're not going to replace it with anything. The payment model, the progression system is going to stay the same. So with the gold they're earning through quests and everything, they're still going to end up at max getting like 1 pack a day. So, you know, because buying packs in Hearthstone is unfortunately kind of required to do good. You know, obviously there's some free-to-play players that can grind out and do amazing, but for the most part, being free-to-play is you can't, it's really hard to do that while also being like staying as a competitive player and stuff like that. So they might just say, okay, you can't buy packs in Belgium anymore, and not replace it with anything. They might not fix the progression system. Say for Overwatch, they might take loot boxes out, and, you know, that's it. You can't get cosmetics anymore, besides like the 1 free level, you know, per day or whatever, or, you know, every time you level up you get a loot box. That, because some people might really want to buy some costumes, and unfortunately it's scummy because it's in loot boxes, but they might a lot of the times not even be able to get any cosmetics. So if someone was willing to spend a little money just to try to get a thing, they can't even do that anymore. They don't even have the choice, because I feel like a lot of developers, and by the way, when I keep saying developers, most of the time I mean publishers, just because, you know, that's how that works. But most publishers, they're just going to take Belgium loot boxes out and not replace it with anything. Because why would they? Why would they spend so much work and effort to completely rework a progression system, especially when their game completely revolves around it, like Hearthstone? The payment model completely revolves around you feeling like you have to spend so much money, and it works, and it's scummy, and it's awful. It's why I don't play Hearthstone anymore. But, you know, although I think it's good that we have steps in the right direction, so I think it's really good that, you know, Belgium is saying it's illegal, and I think it's going to be an amazing thing if, you know, multiple countries keep on doing this, because if we see a lot of countries start doing this and start stepping in this direction, that could be a very good thing. But just for a single country to do it, it's not going to mean much. And another thing I want to say is, there's two kind of sides to this coin. First of all, we have new games that are coming out, and I feel like a lot of new games nowadays, like I talked about, you know, earlier, I think loot boxes might be dying and disappearing, because especially with this, I think new games, especially AAA title games, I think, you know, and I'll link to this video that I talked more in depth about it, you know, at the end of the video, as an annotation, but overall, new games are starting to possibly, especially if they're AAA title games, to not have loot boxes. More and more likely, we're seeing, you know, like Far Cry 5 didn't have loot boxes, they just had normal microtransactions. So that still sucks, but it's not loot boxes. And I feel like, especially having this, we might, you know, see new games have a less chance to have loot boxes in them. But what about games that already came out? Is Overwatch going to change? If the world comes crashing down, is Overwatch really going to make an entire new, you know, system that replaces loot boxes? That's something to think about, because there's a lot of games out there right now, and a lot of very popular games that have loot boxes. You know, you got Overwatch, you got Rocket League, you got, you know, I'm pretty sure League of Legends has loot boxes right now. I don't really play League of Legends that much anymore. You got Heroes of the Storm, you got all of the Call of Duties. You know, you got to think about that, because what exactly is going to happen to those older games? Are they going to completely rework the system? Because that would be nice. You know, if Overwatch, if a lot of countries made it where, you know, if multiple countries follow suit with, you know, Belgium, and Overwatch ends up changing its entire system, that would be awesome. That would be a major win for the gaming industry. But somehow I don't see that happening. I don't see, you know, especially if it's only a couple countries at first. Like, there's no reason Overwatch should rework its system for everyone if just Belgium is complaining. And even if a couple countries are complaining, it's going to take a whole lot of them to start complaining and, you know, doing this kind of thing to make Overwatch, you know, and older games like that, especially since they make so much money off this stuff, completely rework their system to something where they make less money. But either way, that's kind of what I just wanted to talk about. You know, this video was made, you know, and recorded about 4 days after you know, Belgium declared it was illegal. So if you're watching this video in the future and other stuff has happened, I don't know about it as recording this. But either way, you know, if you guys want to leave a comment down below, kind of your opinion on this, what you think was going to happen, you know, because of Belgium. Do you think other countries will follow suit? Do you think, you know, nothing's going to happen because of it? You know, let me know in the comments down below, because part of the fun of making these videos is not only talking at you guys, but, you know, the, you know, conversation that happens after the video. And, you know, if you say you love loot boxes and you want to say that in the comments, you know, we're all humans. We all got different opinions. So, you know, that's fine by me. But either way, if you enjoyed this video, then consider leaving a like down below and subscribing to see more content. A video comes out every Wednesday and Sunday. And also, like always, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and see you guys next time.